Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today we're going to be making a line pattern cat. And we're going to be using different kinds of lines and line patterns. We'll be using horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and then lots of different combinations of wavy and curved lines. It'll be up to you how you want to design your cat. I'm going to show you how to draw the outside of the cat quickly, and then we're going to fill in line pattern. And everybody's line pattern will be different. You have options of keeping it just one color, like I did all my pattern in black here. And then I just added a highlight of color to the face. Or you can do colorful line patterns. And I switched markers. I just used a variety of marker colors to actually draw my lines with. So that's up to you how you want to do it. You also have a choice on your materials, especially if you're at home. You can use whatever you have: marker, crayon, colored pencil, even paint if you have it, if you'd like. That's up to you. Everything's optional. So the first thing we need to do is we need to draw our cat. So we're just going to make a simple shaped cat. If you want to use something to trace for the circle of the head, you may. I'm going to teach you how to draw just freehand. But if you're using something to trace, you want it to be a little bit bigger than 3 fingers wide, because that's how wide we're going to be making the head. So you can look around the house, pause the video, and find something 3 fingers wide. Otherwise, you can draw with me freehand. And freehand means we're not going to be tracing anything. When I start this picture, I want to leave plenty of room for the ears, so I'm going to take my 3 fingers, put my hand sideways, and I'm going to line up the edge of my finger to the edge of the page. And I'm putting it in the center of the page. And I'm going to measure down the thickness of 3 fingers. And I'm going to put a dot right there. So I'm going to remove my hand and just put a dot right in the middle, or a little line right in the middle. From here, I'm going to start my circle, and I'm going to come down and around. I want this circle to be a nice big circle. So I want to give my guidelines of how far down I go. So I'm going to take my fingers again, and notice I've lined them up with my knuckles. I want it to come down the width of my hand here, the thickness of 3 fingers. So I've lined this up so I can still see the line right here. And I'm jumping down about 3 fingers, putting my finger to hold it, and then I'm going to draw a little line. This is where my circle will end. So I'm going to come around, down to this line, and then I'll draw around to this side. I'm going to come out, around, and back. It's okay if your circle's a little lopsided, because we're making a cat's face, and a perfectly circular cat's face is probably not realistic. Now we're going to do the back side. So I'm going to come out, around, and back. And it's almost more of an ovally shape, which is fine. So there's no right or wrong in this circular shape. Now we need 2 triangle pointy ears, okay? They're going to come up a little bit bigger than a finger's space off that head. So I'm going to do a diagonal line from the top of the head, coming up diagonally, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm coming off of this side, up diagonally. And then I'm just going to come back down to the body, or to the head rather. Back down and back down. So I just have some simple ears. Now for the body, we're just going to make it a very simplified body. So I'm coming off of the head, and we'll have this this side where it's the back and the tail. So I'm coming from this circular shape here. I'm coming off of the head on this side. I'm just curving out, almost diagonally out, diagonally down, and then I'm just going to go right to the very bottom of the page. Just going to come from, let's make the tail top starting up here. So find the head. I'm jumping below the head. This is more of his shoulders. And I'm coming over. And I'm going to place my finger here in the center of this space. And I'm going to go around my finger. I'm going to remove my finger, and I'm going to take this line and go right down to the bottom. I'm connecting it where the body ends. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm just going to come down and go right off the page. There I have a nice fluffy tail. On this side, I'm going to come out, diagonally out, and then I'm going to go down to the, almost to the bottom, but I'm going to, when I come down to almost to the bottom, don't touch the bottom. You want to leave a little space because we're going to make a foot that comes out. So I'm coming across here. So this makes a right angle here. And then I'm just going to curve it down. This is his little paw sticking out. See how the little paw is sticking out? You can come up if you want to put the line of his leg. I jumped over, about a finger and a half. Big jump over. And I did my straight line down. And we can add the details of his paw here. He's sitting, facing this way, and then his head is turned to us. And that's how you make the cat outline. To start off the cat, I'm going to show you how to make the face first. And so we're going to take a template. And if you were at home with my kid, if you're one of my kids that are at home for online learning, we've just done the lesson on how to draw the cat. And so now we're going to start with the face. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. And we're going to start to design the face now here. To make the cat's face, we're going to find the center of the cat's head. So we're going to find the top and the bottom of the head. Let's go ahead and draw a line here though, and we're going to make it slightly sloped. We're going to give him a collar, or her a collar, whoever you want to make. And then let's do a double line for the collar. So I'm coming down a little bit, just sloping and coming back. Now what we're going to do is from the collar to the top of the head, we're going to go to the very middle, and we're just going to put a small line right in the very middle of the head. That's going to be the little nose. Now we're going to go over each side. Now you want your nose, we're going to exaggerate the nose because we don't want it super duper small. So if you put your finger, you see when I'm having my finger on this line, I can see both sides of the line. You want to be able to do that too. That's to make sure your line is big enough. If it's not big enough, just make it a little bit bigger on each side. Okay? Now I'm going to jump down from that. I'm going to jump down probably 1/2 inch. Almost a finger space. Almost as the width of my finger. Put a dot right in the middle of that line. So side, side, find the center, jump down. What we're going to do is we're going to make a triangle for the cat nose. But the triangle is going to be facing down. The flat side's going to be here, and the point is here. So now connect both sides. Sometimes kids have trouble making a triangle that's pointing down. So that's... So how's it look? Good? Now let's put a number 1. Now you can choose little cat lips coming up, or you can do a big cat mouth. Look how big mine is. This goes woo all the way to the edge. But if you want a little one, you can just go up and over, up and over. And I'll show you. So this one's a big one. If you want a big one, start here, go over and up. I'm going to do a little one. I'm just going to go like meow, meow, over and up. The little tiny dainty mouth. Over and up. What letter does this look like?
U. I don't know.
A U on each side, but 2 U's together make a W. If you want, this I made a little chin. here, so I came down, over, and back. Or
What?
you can put a tongue, because sometimes a tongue comes out of the cat.
Did you order from the internet?
So we're gonna go, if you want to add a tongue, you can, or you can leave it plain, just like this. I'll make this one plain, and this one, I have a little chin coming down. Now we're gonna work on the eyes. So above this, I'm gonna do a line up, a line up. On each side here, I'm going to do a letter V, down and up. See how I skipped a little space over and made a V? Skip a little space over and make a V, down and up. That almost looks cute like that, like he's closing his eyes.
It does.
I'm going to make it so I have nice, big, bright, beautiful eyes coming over here. So I'm going to connect, and curve down. So from this line, I go over, connect, curve down. Beautiful eyes. So we can give them a nice, beautiful color. Now we're going to come over, connect all those lines. Do you see how I made some eye color on each side? Later, we can add color on each side. Not now, though, because we're going to do all the black stuff first. Inside the ears, let's do 2 lines. I'm starting to make these little triangles here. And then I'm going to go up and back, up and back. So we've got a lot of triangles. We've got a triangle here. There's a little triangular shape here, and 2 on the top.
And there's one for the nose.
Now we're going to go ahead and do some little whiskers. Now it's up to you how you want to make your whiskers. Let me show you on mine. I just have some little lines coming out here. We're going to glue this cat. My class today is going to glue it onto a piece of white paper. But if you're at home and have the cat already drawn, look what you could do. You can make your whiskers really long if you want. You could even have them have a curly Q on the end. Look at that fancy one.
It's like a G.
We learned about spirals and circles and curves last week. So you could do some spirals coming out. See how that makes it a lot fancier?
Yeah, it
Kind of reminds me if Fancy Nancy had a cat. It might be looking like this.
does. It's kind of like when you
I know the story with Fancy Nancy. She has a dog. Okay, if you want to put a little bit of eyelashes on, you can. You don't have to. So watch how I do some eyelashes. I come near the middle here, and I'm just going to go up. I'm doing it kind of diagonal with a little curve on the end. And they're a little bit longer toward the middle, and then they get smaller toward the end. So a little bit longer up here, and then they get shorter. Now this that we've made here, this V shape, if you color that in, this is the pupil of the eye. And the eye color, let's just draw in the boundary of the eye color. It's just going to be a curve here and a curve here. So I curve and curve. It looks like it's a circle back here, doesn't it? It's circular shaped. Because this is where the iris would be, where we add our color to. So now I'm just going to put some short little whiskers here. Now we're going to design our cat to make it our unique, very own cat. And we're going to fill it with the line patterns we learned about last week. We're going to fill it with horizontal lines, vertical lines, zigzag lines. These are angle lines. These are curvy lines. So we did spirals, curves. These are loopy lines.
Oh, I like this.
Wait, I didn't even remember that.
So we're going to use line and line pattern. Now let me show you my example here. You can design your collar with line and line pattern. When you make your lines and line pattern, you want to start out, say if I'm going to do a pattern down here near his toes, this could be his foot. You want to start making things very neat. That's craftsmanship. So instead of making my line really quickly and just fast, where it kind of looks a little messy, I want to take my time. I'm going to start off with some stripes right here and do it slowly and carefully. I start from one line, I intersect it and bring it down to the edge, slowly and carefully. Now you don't have to copy this pattern. I'm just showing you if you want to fill this with cool line pattern, how you would do this. But it's your design. But see how I'm doing it slowly and carefully? Maybe I want to cross over. And then maybe I just want to do some curves here. But look at how carefully I'm forming the curves. I take my time, I do it carefully, and I do it neatly. Now you don't have to do it with your black marker. You can create your design like I did here with colored markers. But every time I made my line pattern, I did it slowly, carefully, and neatly. And then when you're done, your picture will look beautiful. You'll have neat craftsmanship. And that's what makes your picture wonderful, is when you take your time and make it neat and careful. So you can do it with all black if you want and make it just a black and white beautiful design. Or you can use colors from the marker, whatever you have. And if you're at home, you can use materials like colored pencils or crayons if you have crayons at home. Whatever you're using at home or whatever you have on hand, you can use. For my kids, I don't want you coloring in shapes. You can color in small things like this, but we're not coloring the whole cat one color because the lesson today is on lines and line pattern. So our cat is going to be filled with line pattern. We're not coloring today. For example, if you have little tiny polka dots like this, well then that's okay, because by the time I drew that, let me show you. When I drew that shape, I pushed kind of hard, and it actually just formed the color anyways. I just pressed on the side and it just gave a little circle just by pressing. So I'm not coloring big areas because I want to see beautiful line pattern. And I'll show you some examples that my kids have done today. And this was my example. I finished the cat up with some really fun zany pattern. And I did add a little bit of accent in the face with a little bit of coloring. If things are smaller than your fingertip, you can color them in. And I opted for just black and white, or black and pink, because I had a pink cat. Now I'm going to show you what some of my 6- and 7-year-old students made today. Here's a few examples right here with line and line pattern. We've got some really neat craftsmanship here. Look at that, for 6 years old. And here's some more examples.
You said it. You just said it.
amazing job. Love those spirals. And look how neatly the collar is. Good job.
My car is
Loads of pattern here.
yeah, no more.
I hope you had fun making your crazy cat patterns today.